Hey guys, thanks for jumping on. Just going to do a real quick rundown. I want to talk about a couple of things that I was looking at on on the charts here, and I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on this week. I'll be honest with you. I think we're going to be in this chop. You see this right here on the dollar. We've been in this sideways action now for the past 4 days straight. I honestly don't see this breaking out here for a little while. I think it might be a continuation. Price will trade down, trade back up to the high end. It'll be overbought. It'll come back down, oversold. So basically, sell here, buy here. Same down here, buy, and when it goes back up here, sell. And I'm going to keep this kind of theory in place for the next, and probably till the end of the week. I'm going to just bring up the Forex calendar here for the week. Let's see what we got happening. See if there's anything that could potentially break it out of this sideways action here. I got caught on the cable today because of this move here. I was thinking we were going to get a continuation. So this was today's trading here. And you can see how early in London it was pushing its way down. I thought it was making the low of the day, and then it started screaming back up, and that's when I was selling into the cable run. I'll show you that here in a minute. And then price just came up just to, sweep above the body highs here, not make any more progress, and then just got crushed at the end of the day. So I think this is a trend that's going to honestly continue for the next little while. So not that we can't trade this environment, but we got to be very, very nimble. And I'm personally would be only looking for 40 pips, 30 to 40 pips. I'm not looking for big monster moves because I just don't think the probability is going to be there. Could be susceptible to things like this happening. So looking at the Forex calendar, the weekly calendar coming up, Wednesday, there's crude oil inventory numbers, and then Thursday, I guess Friday more like there's some G7 meetings, but that's not an economic driver for the U.S. That's more, look at that, G7 meetings all weekend long too. That's going to be interesting. So I don't know, guys. I think we might see dollar consolidation for a little longer, maybe until next week. I mean, what do we got happening next week here? Next Wednesday, June 13th, we got some PPI, we got some CPI, crude oil. Okay, here we go. FOMC economic projections, FOMC statement. Here we go. Federal fund rate. We got the big stuff happening here next Wednesday. I'm not sure if any of you looked out into the week ahead, but there it is for your rate there, guys. Big day. This time next week, there's going to be some massive price movement, I believe. FOMC statement, federal funds rate, and FOMC press conference. Crude oil inventories, PPI numbers, and on and on and on. So if I take any trades to next week, it will be Monday and maybe Tuesday. And I probably will be sitting on the sidelines until this takes place. Because I'll be honest with you, they're probably waiting. They're probably just sitting here and building up positions, and they're waiting for those numbers to hit for next week. So that's interesting. Now, I'm going to bring up something here. I just want to have a real quick look at the dollar futures contract, and I just want to see. Come on, give me this chart here. Just sort of looking at where some of the positions are sitting right now in terms of some of the larger entities where they have most of their funds placed. Just give me 1 second here. I just want to pull this up real quick. And it would help if I got to the currencies section. Here we go. And go to the June contract, still in. Discount going into next contract. Oh, my computer is very slow for some reason. Maybe it's just this website. Okay, I got a couple comparisons on here. Let me just get rid of these. Apply. Okay. Oh, what the hell? That's weird. Huh. Well, that's weird. Why? So there's comparisons on here. It's not giving me anything. Look what my US dollar chart's doing. That's weird. I'm on a 1 month. Let me see if I can switch to a 3. There we go. No. No, look at this. I'm not sure why that's doing that. It says I've got some comparisons on here. Let's see what studies I've got on. COT data. No other studies there. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. I wasn't trying to make this long. I'm just trying to okay, what do we got here? We got the, what's on here? ZU. That's weird. No, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Anyway, okay. That's a year. Let's go down to a month. Yeah, right. See? Well, shit. Anyway, I think the data that I'm looking for here is a lot of the big specs I think are going to be net short right now, and they're selling into these positions, but that doesn't mean that the price can't rise higher. What they typically like to do is sell into positions as they're going higher. It'll make the peak, and then that's when they're short all the way up here, and then they smash price down. I'm still not going to change my tune. I think that we're going to run these highs here, but I do think before it does that, and next week would be a perfect catalyst for them to do that. With all those big numbers coming up next Wednesday, I would not be surprised if that's exactly what they did, is they just chop price sideways for the next, basically doing this until next Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they ram price up, scoop it all, turtle soup, and then drop it. And that's why everyone's net short right now. And I think obviously these lows and everything else is going to get run, and we'll probably end up making a return back down to these levels down here. So, I don't think my analysis is going to change on that. However, the issue that we've got right now is the current trading market that we're in is chopping sideways. So you have to be, like I was saying earlier, very nimble. So now the cross pairs that we typically trade off of the US dollar, being the Euro USD, the pound dollar, US CAD, Aussie, etc., 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 all the major US cross pairs could see range-bound trading as well too. Look at the euro. Case in point, the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days, price has been trading in this range right here. It has not broken higher or lower than here, and the issue, and the euro really typically, give me this. Okay, thanks. So let's just go ahead and do that. So yeah, the euro typically trades very, very closely mimicking the US dollar, obviously, and more than likely we'll definitely see consolidation on this pair. And I didn't trade the euro today. Had I would have went short. I was looking at this saying, well, there's the manipulation above price, above the highs for the day. Comes up into a logical reversal area. I mean, really all we're looking at is just the high to the low, taking out a fib, 61%, boom, retraced, short it, and ran down. You could have got a nice little move here. Let's say you got short somewhere in here and pick up your 50 pips, but then they just completely reversed price and reversed it in a big hurry. And now we're creating a bit of a ceiling. So one of two things is going to happen. It's going to stay in this consolidation area here, or we could push higher. I mean, there's lots of area of liquidity above here, above into here, and up into these ranges in here, for sure. So I mean, that's something we could definitely look at going forward. Like this area right here. See this kind of head and shoulders pattern? Definitely stops right above this right-hand shoulder here, and so on and so forth down the road, because they have not come back to sweep those stops since they've come back down into here. This was the first stop run that they did on Monday's trading, and then price fell off about 50 pips and then traded right back up to the highs again. So again, range bound. If price doesn't start screaming up here, I think very, very likely they'll probably just move this thing sideways. And now the pound dollar, here's the thing about the pound dollar. So look at Euro GBP. I called this on Monday that price was going to come down to 87.25, react very strongly. It did, and look what it did the very next day. Look at Tuesday's trading, right back down. So this thing has been consolidating like crazy, and so they're manipulating the pound and the euro together in unison. And what they could very well do is chop the euro sideways and run the pound. So you can see there is definitely some bullish price action happening on the pound right now. I would expect a run a little bit lower. Look at the reaction, though, so far. I was actually just looking at this 15 minutes ago, and I was going to say I'd like to actually be a buyer right as price came in and came right under there. And I'm just wondering if they got low enough. Not quite. I'd expect them to maybe come down just a little bit further on the pound, and I'm expecting pound to run up. I don't know that they're going to keep this one in range-bound trading. I would suggest 133.95. We could see a run back down to, and price may do something kind of like this. And that's what I'd be looking for. But there's not a lot of area above price right here like the euro that I'm too excited about. There's some equal highs in here. You can see right up here, that's about 40 pips away. And then the next area of liquidity would be, I guess I can't get this. Yeah, I can. You see these equal highs right here? That'd be the next area that I'd be looking at for a potential run. But, you know, I would hope that they would have saved this for later on. So once the U.S. dollar has come down or swung back up, taken these highs out here, what I would have hoped for would be an equal push down to take out these lows under here. And that's, but if they start trading the pound now, all of a sudden they start trading all the way back up into here, less of a likelihood that that is going to happen, that they would drop price. You know, let's say they came up and swept the highs and turtle souped it, and that they would come down 500 or 600 pips to get underneath the lows here. Very unlikely. I think if they're going to do it, this is it. This is the run, and they're just going to start screaming it higher. Maybe with kind of an intraday push lower if the dollar does make that, and maybe return back down to this level down here. But we could have seen the low end of the pound in, unless they just start dropping it from here. But, you know, like I say, I'd like these lows down here. I think the areas under here could still be a possibility. But the higher they go with the pound, the less likely it's going to happen. So, and I got caught today on the pound. So this was the price that I was trading. Price was sitting down here, made a high on Monday, was starting to creep back up to a logical area where I was looking for a reversal, either here or into here, and they just screamed price up. I got in at 133.45 or 40, somewhere in right around here. They steamed price up another 45 pips to take the high out, and I think the high came in here at 133.92, and then they sunk it back down another 50 pips. Now, this is where I screwed up. Yes, I was, you know, wrong initially on here. I didn't foresee this stop run, but I was looking to rebalance again and for them to drop price lower, and I kind of turned a blind eye to it, and I was looking to get short again, so I got short into here. Price ran down about 25 pips, and then just put the brakes on, reversed, and went straight back up. So I was definitely wrong here. It wasn't a good day on the pound, but you know, it is what it is. I kept my stops tight on the second trade, so minimized loss, but still it was a loss for me. And we all have losing days. I mean, I'm human. Everybody else is too. Last time I checked, who trades the Forex market, minus the robots, of course. But they were all designed by humans and potentially flawed. So I made a mistake, and it is what it is. So I'm looking to redeem that this week. And unfortunately, like I say, with the dollar potentially trading sideways, it might make things a little bit more difficult or keep the ranges a little bit smaller. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, if price starts breaking, look, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to just, this is as high as they're going, and they're just going to start pushing lower, and you know, they might want to have a deep retracement and then come back up next week for FOMC. I don't know. I don't think they're taking the highs this week, though. Not with FOMC next Wednesday. I think they'll probably just maybe leave that intact. Maybe seek to get a few more long orders, on the wrong side down here under the market, and then take it higher. There's lots of areas. See these areas down here, these old highs here have not been returned to, so they could definitely come down, clean that up. Lows under here. Look at these equal lows, right under here, low, and then they failed to come down under that low here, and then equal lows right there. So there's definitely lots of areas for the US dollar to come back down to and scoop up liquidity before they go. But I kind of have a feeling, just the way that they've been chopping this here, that we could see this extended out. Again, just my thoughts. I could be wrong. Like I was wrong today, like I say. I mean, it kind of pissed me off, I'll be honest with you. The first time, yeah, I got stopped out. I was wrong. I was looking for a continuation lower. Typically, you'll get a propulsion, a rejection off of a pattern like this right in here, and to go lower. And I was looking for the lows under here to get ran. You see how they failed how they left all those lows there before they ran it up. And but this reversal in here, that's the one that kind of pissed me off. So anyways, the worst thing to do is revenge trade. You don't want to be doing that. But, see how they've already been creating equal highs up here. I'd like to think that, there could be further upside on the cable, and that like this doesn't look range bound. You look at this trading here, okay, versus the euro. So same time frame on the hourly, the past week of trading, range bound, right? Pound dollar, not range bound. Bullish. They were creating higher lows all the way up. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher higher. Signals a bullish pattern. So until these lows here are swept convincingly and closed under, and they keep stacking price lower, I'm not going to be changing my tune that this thing's going to be coming down anytime soon. They could be seeking, like I say, areas potentially above the market for a little while. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the pound. But I could be wrong again. I mean, I got caught today. I mean, this was ugly, and I should have saw this friggin' pattern the second it started developing. And I kind of got blindsided, to be honest with you. And anyway, so I can't say enough about how wrong I was. Let's talk about hopefully how right I'm going to be tomorrow into Wednesday. So again, I don't want to see price rip up and take the highs up here right away. I'd like to see them pull back a bit and take some more of the market underneath here, because like I say, we do have these lows here, and they failed to hit those there, so there's definitely room under here for it to go. So I'd like to just see one quick run down. Keep in mind though, if price does come down, but it doesn't want to break 134 number, 134 big figure basically, then like if there's just no willingness to come down there, it probably won't do it, and it probably won't run these lows. So I was looking for 133.95, may not do that, and then I'd just be buying into any retracing back down, as long as they don't just start stabbing up for this high rate here. So I'm going to watch this going into London anyway, long story short, and we'll see where that's at. But again, I had to vent about that trade, just kind of drove me crazy, and I kind of wanted to jump on here real quick and discuss it. So mission accomplished. Anyway, US dollar, or US CAD, I'm sorry. This guy here, surprising that it ran the stops like that. I mean, that's very, very telling, especially the US dollar did nothing of the sort today. US CAD came in there and smashed through last week's high. US dollar failed to do so. So what I'm thinking here is, right, a bit of divergence. This failed to make that high, whereas the US CAD took that high. And so now, I mean, like I say, I definitely think we could be seeing lower prices on US CAD. They could be manipulating this. Lots of areas underneath here for a potential target. And, that'd be 200 pips from current location. What I'd like to see, though, I don't want to see them just start screaming for price right now. I'd like to see a bit of a retracement. If they could come up and recapitalize the 129.60 area, I might be interested in going short there. So kind of doing something like this, and then I'd be don't know that we're going to get that low. Like I say, if this does stay in the consolidation level here, US CAD, you know, it may not do a whole lot, you know, nothing spectacular, but you know, 12900, it could easily hit that one without a problem, and that'd be a nice 60 pip move, and honestly I would be good with that. That would recoup all the losses I took today and put me back on top, and away we go. You know, tomorrow's another day. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. So a couple of different trades, and I'll be honest with you, if this thing drops from here, it could definitely do that. I'm sorry, I'm going back to the pound dollar again, just because I got fooled by it today, and I, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I may not even take a trade on pound dollar. I may just let this one sit, just because they could want to reach a little bit lower. There's definitely some areas right in here at 133.60 that they could want to come down and recapitalize that. So that's what I'd have to be watching for. I'd have to definitely have, if I got long at 33.95, I'd have to have at least a 40, maybe even a 50 pip stop, which I don't always like doing. The numbers aren't there, right? If my risk is 50 pips, my reward has got to be at least, at a very bare minimum, 100 pips to get a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, and that's low. I don't like trading those. Minimum I'd like to do is a 3 to 1, and this isn't necessarily conducive of that trade. So I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'll be watching this level. If I see some wicking starting to occur, they slam price down and then start to reject, I might take it, but my stop would be tight. Like I would not permit this thing to go any lower than basically see this down candle right here. I'd probably put my stop right at the bottom of this at about 133.80, you know, maybe. Give it 15 pips, and if it hits that, then I'd be out, and I wouldn't be looking to do anything with the pound dollar for the rest of the week. So US CAD may be, you know, again, a little bit choppy in here, but they did run those highs. I like how they did that, and they come right back down again. And with the US dollar not showing any signs of any bullishness, potential bearishness on the horizon, they may be, right, this may be the SMT that we're looking for, and ran the stops where the US dollar didn't, and they could sink it. So, especially with crude oil, had a little bit of a bounce today on crude. I'm not going to get too excited. They could come up just to the lows of these candles here. I'll be watching 6640 area for a potential reversal. I'm not convinced that they've seen the low on crude oil yet. There's a lot happening with crude, and you know, a lot more could be happening with it. So I'm gonna hold any trades on crude oil yet. I still think this has the potential to come down to 63.70 level here, even though it bounced perfectly off my beautifully drawn trend line right there, as you can see. Right? Look how perfectly accurate that was. Not quite. That's why you don't trade trend lines. Look at this. I mean, how would you, like, what am I putting it there? Am I putting it here? You know, like, what am I doing here with this thing? How is this? That's actually a really good question I got. Like, there are some traders, and don't get me wrong, if you use these kind of trend lines, all the power to you. If it's working for you, do whatever works. Don't let me change your mind. But like, I was always taught with a trend line such as this, you basically put it on the low, you know, either the body low or the wick low, and then you try to match up the corresponding tails or the wicks, or you know, in this case, let's say we did the body, okay? So let's say we do that. Well, look at that. I mean, it hasn't touched the trend line once. So then, okay, do you tighten it up and say, well, maybe this one was a fake out, and then we go to this one, that one gets a little tighter in there. So then you say, okay, well, let's maybe not go off of that low. Let's go, I don't know why I'm talking about this right now, but, you know, let's maybe go off of this guy right here. And then is this the level that we're looking at? You know, so there's just too many unknowns with that type of trend line trading. I don't use that. I only use it just to basically show you that's a bull trend. That's really all that is to it. So, anyway, rant over. crude oil, holding off. Aussie, man. So I just posted this on our group membership. I talked about this last night, during London Open for Tuesday. And called the level perfectly. 75.90. What did price do? It actually, sorry, just missed it by maybe a pip. 75.90. I was actually looking more so the highs in here, but 75.90. The price came down today. I think it was like within a pip. Low 75.93. So 3 pips off of that low. And look at the reaction. Gorgeous reaction. That's what you want to see when you're picking your levels out. That's the type of reaction that you want to see. And to be honest with you, that was 12 hours ago that happened. I was so busy today. Talked about it, and I forgot to set a limit order, and I missed it, unfortunately. So hopefully a lot of you guys got that, because I talked about it during London, and beautiful 75 pips. I would, if I were you, if you haven't yet, I would be taking your profit right now. They could see price come down a little bit off of this high. So if you are in this trade, there's no harm in being profitable. At least taking something off. You know, move your stop to break even. Take a good portion off, half of it maybe. Let the rest ride out to your target, because I'm assuming your target is probably up in here somewhere. Maybe these equal highs I was talking about, and you know. But yeah, that's a nice move. It's always nice to bank profits all the way up, making sure that they can't take that money back from you. So hopefully some of you got in on this move. I was not one of them, because I forgot to set the limit order, to be honest with you. I wanted to see what price does. Price, when I was talking about it, was up in here, and they were starting to make the breakdown, and I wanted to watch it, and I honestly, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Sorry, hang on, price didn't make that low until it was a little bit later in the day, New York Open, and I was watching price in here, and then I was in meetings for the morning, and I didn't get a chance to see it, so that's why I didn't get the long in, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. Plenty of trades out there, and you miss one doesn't mean you're gonna miss them all. So anyway, Dave will be on tomorrow. He'll be going through gold and S&P, obviously. Well, S&P is making a nice little breakout here this week to start off the week. Nice little rally. So we'll see where that goes. Copper had a nice little punch up here on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. Nice little run higher. Be interesting. They came up and stopped price right at this consolidation area right in here, and they could be wicking it up just to grab the stops, and they could be heading it back down under here. That would be a logical area for them to scoop up stops if they plan on doing that. Cocoa's dropping. I know some guys I was talking to in the membership program are short on cocoa. I was talking about them running for these lows here and potentially tagging off of these highs in here. I didn't do the trade personally. I don't necessarily like to short, especially after this bull move here. Not really my forte. I'd be more comfortable taking a long on it. Not that you can't short commodities, obviously, because that'd be a nice run down, but me personally, I like to go into long positions. And, I'd like to go into long positions on a move like this, and this retrace here. Honestly, if price doesn't start bouncing in these areas right here, you know, I wouldn't know how far down it would go. This chart only goes back until August of 2014, so then they'll update the contract again, and they'll give me some more levels going forward. But yeah, kudos to you if you got in on that cocoa trade. Coffee, look at that. Created just about an equal high there. What was the high of this candle? I think the high 3 days ago just took it by maybe a pip or two. Come on, give me that candle. There it is. High comes in at 122.99. I came in here at 120. I'm sorry, 123.06. So it just took it by 7 pips. and then they've rejected. So let's see how far they want to go down. Nice bullish movement here so far. Just because they double top this thing does not mean that they're not going to go higher. Lots of liquidity above the markets up here. So we could get an entry on this one yet. So we'll see. You know, again, especially if the US dollar starts to fall, it's going to drive commodities higher. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. Nice retracement of cotton. Wouldn't want to be a buyer up here, though. Price would be a little too extended for me. I'd wait to see if they want to come down under this low here on cotton. I actually haven't looked at cotton for a little while. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I am going to actually sit down. When am I going to do it? I'm trying to pick a time here. I'll start doing it, because it takes a long time to go through all the major commodities and pick out the movements, because we're into the next quarter here from when I did it in the last quarter, and it's time. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through all the major commodities, I'll pick out some levels, I'll run some analysis on it, see where we are now in relation to where we were in the last time I did it, and then I'll see if I can't pick out a few movers. Just to kind of give you an idea, last time I did that, I called the orange juice move. I called this. I did my analysis back, I think, in February. I think it was late February, and price was starting to break here. Didn't know it was going to reach that much of a high, but I knew it was going to take out that high there. Not much of a move. And coffee, I've been calling this, this breakdown here, and I was looking to get long for a while now, back since, like I say, early March. I was hoping for a low sweep down. It did it, and I was looking for a re-entry on it. Orange juice I called. Cotton, I don't recall if I did any analysis. I have to go back to my notes. Sugar was one. Look at the move on sugar that we just saw. And nat gas is another one that I'm looking for as well too. So so far several of them have panned out, and some of them didn't really do anything, but I think that I can accurately peg off the next movers for the next quarter, and that's what I'm going to look at doing it here. And I'll sit down this week and do it, guys. So I'd like to go long on sugar right here, to be honest with you. I like how prices come all the way back down, retesting these old highs here. We could sink a little bit lower. I wouldn't be surprised if this 1170 area got retested. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are looking at doing this. Some little bit of indecision in here. Could be one more move down. I don't want to see price go all the way down here. So if you are in this trade here, going long, and you got in back from the levels that I was calling here, definitely take your profits now if you haven't already. Move your stop up, to wherever you got in, and plus a bunch, and just hang on to this one here. I want to watch this for at least another day or two, and we'll see where we're at. But yeah, Bitcoin, crypto, all those guys not doing anything too special, and nothing to talk about there that hasn't already been said. Looking for the lows to get set in. Nothing yet. That FOMC next week, that could also be the catalyst on some of these guys as well too. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'd like a return to here. You see a drop on Ethereum. So anyway, that's about it, guys. I've been on long enough. You know my thoughts. I'm not super excited about this week. With the US dollar, I really wish it was doing something more than this. But it's to be expected. I mean, look at this bull run that we've had here, right? One minor retracement right here, and just since then, just a monster bull run, and gave us a ton of opportunities, and made a lot of pips out of it. So now that there's a little bit of consolidation, it's it's due. Ranges go from expansion to contraction, and that's how they run, right? Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, consolidation, distribution, etc., etc., etc. We all know how that works. Why do I keep doing that? So, anyway, we'll see what prices do. The only ones I'm really looking at, if Aussie comes back down and gives us another entry, maybe off of this level in here at 76.25, ish, somewhere in that area, I might look at potentially getting long there, because again, there'd be a movement up into here that I'd be looking for, so that could be a nice 125 pips. And then US CAD, if we get a run back up here and then a reversal, that's what I'd be looking for on US CAD. I'd be looking for Tuesday to create the high of the week on US CAD, and then a drop to ensue. And I would at least be pegging off, you know, this 12900 level, and maybe even this level down here at 128, you know, 50 type of thing. I'll just mark that out. Not super precise, but that's kind of, whoops. That's weird. What happened there? 128.50. There. That'd be kind of the level I'd be looking at. About 100 pips lower, a little over 100 pips lower on that move. So, you guys got any questions or anything like that? I know I ask every single time, and nobody ever, well, not nobody, but rarely get any questions. So if you got any, now's the time. I'm going to wrap this up and call it a day. Yeah. Even this isn't really exciting me right now. Like, just very, I don't know. Not super excited about this move, to be honest with you. If price didn't extend itself this high, and we came down, rebounded up, and just rallied right around here, and didn't keep pushing higher into there, and then created this range, but it was, you know, around this level here, I'd get a little bit more excited, because then I would be looking for a drop back down to 133.60 and an easy run higher from there. That would be a bread and butter. I mean, that'd be a very, very simple setup. So, but up here, I'm not super stoked on it, I'll be honest with you. Anything on Euro? Like, Euro would be a little bit more interesting, to be honest with you, for a run, a drop back down, and then a pop. That would be a little bit more interesting to me. I think that would make a little bit more sense. But I'll be honest with you, this thing's trading sideways. I'm a little bit hesitant to trade this guy here when this is locked in here. If this starts breaking lower and we start getting lower than 93, like if price drops below 93.60 and we get a close lower and price starts to drop, then no problem. But right now, you know, I wouldn't be looking to short this. I'd be looking, because they've already been 1, 2, 3 times, haven't gone any higher, and they went lower. He took the stops under here, failed above there. They may want to take it lower, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm done. Thanks for joining. Dave will be in tomorrow, New York time, at 7:30 a.m. New York time. S&P Gold. Check it out. He's a great trader. You guys are going to get lots of valuable information from him. Potentially a setup. We'll see you then. Thanks, and I'll be back on Thursday. See you then.